Good afternoon. My name is Charles Scott. I am the broker and the owner of Tri-State Realty, and we're here today to give you some informative news that might help you with your real estate purchases and also some information as to what's happening with the economy. Eldridge Brown cannot be here today, so I'm holding down for her and for myself, and we want to wish her a good day. She's out there running around and doing what she normally does as usual. So I'll put a shout out to her. I'm here. Again, I'm your host, Charles Scott. I'm with Tri-State Realty. And Tri-State Realty, we are going to be giving you some information that will be helpful and informative to you today and tell you a little bit about what's happening with the marketplace. Last time I was on, I spoke to you about some of the things that you needed to do as a renter if you were looking for an apartment, trying to find an apartment. Right now is, I'd say, some of the changing times in real estate that I've never seen in about 25, 30 years. It's like a perfect storm of things that we didn't think that were going to occur, which has occurred as far as prices. Prices are shooting up, and this is basically all across the United States. It's not just in this particular area. I started to say it's particular to the East Coast, but what we have is coming out of the pandemic, pent-up demand. Have even stores, and you go into stores, and the stores are full of people spending money. And I talked to someone the other day, and they said that there's not supposed to be a lot of jobs, and people are spending a lot of money. And you go into shopping plazas, and the stores are filled up. And I said, well, that's why they call it stimulus money. What's happening is the government is printing up money. And it's not like they're handing out golds, which is backing the money. They're handing out paper. And if you want to look at it that way, I heard a story the other day, and I guess it's not a story. It's true. In the paper, they reported that the printing, where they print the money, they ran out of ink. There's a shortage of ink, and so I was telling someone that the other day, and they said yes. A relative of mine works for one of the major insurance companies. And they're running short of ink also because they print out the checks going out to the millions of people that have the life insurance policies. But the government is running out of ink. Their printing presses are breaking down because they're printing up so much money. And they're sending out all of this money, and they call it stimulus money. So stimulus money is meant just what it means. Stimulate the economy. You put money out there, you put money in the hands of people, and depending upon what your situation is, a lot of people are saving that stimulus money for a rainy day. They're putting it away. Now, some cases, people are not in a position to save the stimulus money because they need it to live, to pay the bills, to pay the expenses, and any of the extra money, then they get to spend it. And that's why it's supposed to stimulate the economy and keep the economy from going into a tailspin. So the money is stimulus money so that people can go out and buy things. It keeps the businesses in business. It keeps them from having to lay off their employees, and also it keeps manufacturing going. That way, I guess the logic behind all of that is most people would say, well, why are they printing up all of this money? Why are they sending out billions and trillions of dollars into the cities and into all of these different places? Because they've come to the conclusion that it's better to send the money out and put it in the hands of all of the different people to keep the economy going than to have the businesses go out of business, lay everybody off, high unemployment, and the entire value of the stocks, the entire value of the companies would go downhill. And that's even worse than printing up money and putting money in the hands of people so that they can keep the businesses going. And there's been a priority for small businesses. If you are a small businesses, there was the PPP money out there, Paycheck Protection, where they gave money to companies as long as they agreed to keep on their employees and pay the employees. There's monies out there for restaurants, to keep the restaurants going. There's money out there for farmers to keep the farmers going. So there's money out there for, a little bit of everybody to keep things going. There's money out there to help people pay their rent. There's money out there for people to pay their mortgages. So all of this money is to keep us from going into a depression. And, many people out that are listening to me probably, well, they've never lived through a depression. Maybe some of them have, but I guess I've never lived through one, but from the stories and what you see on TV, it must have been a very bad time in America when they had the depression and people were losing the farms, losing their businesses, losing everything. So, this time around, that did not happen in that large scale, and people seem to be weathering the pandemic and starting to come back. So that's a good thing. So if you are a recipient of the monies and you're able to save some of it, I would advise you to save some of that money. Today I wanted to talk about, what's happening out in the marketplace. I tried to, on my program, give you some insight as to what's happening in the economy. I don't have a crystal ball, but we normally talk about past experiences and where we're headed. For example, the economists and all of the large firms that study accounting and where the United States is headed and where we're headed as far as business expect a banner year. They expect a lot of profits. They expect businesses to boom. They expect people to have jobs. And what are one of the things that they look at? They look at inventories. They look at the product, the indexes, what's being manufactured. And they go into the warehouses. They call all of the CEOs of all of the companies and they ask them, how much inventory do you have in your warehouses? Now, if they've been selling out of their merchandise and the inventories are low, well, they've got to build that inventory back up. And you just don't build inventory. It's not like a grocery store. You just stock the shelves overnight. It may take 6 months to put that inventory in there. So the economists, if they call around and find out that a lot of these companies are very low on inventory because they've been cautious in just selling what they have, then they realize that it's going to take some time to catch up. And that means they're going to have to keep all of the employees going at full force and not lay people off. Matter of fact, hire new people, bring people in, start, cranking up the machinery. Let's get those inventories back up there. So they can predict that in the next 6 months or a year, there's going to be a lot of work for a lot of people just building up the inventories. So this is one of the indicators that they look at. They look at how often people buy new cars. The cars that people have been driving lately have been wearing down because people hesitated in buying a new car because of the economy. But now, car sales are up. People are looking to buy that new car to get back and forth to work. But one of the big problems that is occurring right now, and if for people out there, if you go to the car dealers, you'll notice that there's not a lot of cars on the car dealers' lot, but there's a high demand. What's happening? Why are so many people looking to buy a car and they can't find a car on the lot? Because of the chips, the computer chips. There's a big shortage right now in computer chips. And a lot of these computer chips come from China. And China, within the last couple of years, had a big fire in one of their factories that produces the chips. And that factory has not been 100% online. So all of these chips that go into your car, now look at your modern day car. Everything is electronic. I was telling someone the other day, I remember when I have an older van, and the windshield wiper wasn't working, and so my son and I were looking at it, and I was pointing out the different things. I said, well, there's the starter, there's the generator, there's the part here. We got to take this part off, and there's the motor for the wipers, so we should find out what's going on. And I said, today's cars, you can't do that. You don't know what chip operates what. It's electronic. You need to be a computer operator to find out, what's going on, because all of the parts are all made out of chips. So the average car today, if you don't have the computer chips to put into that particular car, the car won't run. And like what happens is if a car sits still for too long and you don't use it, the battery will go dead, because the chips are using up all of this energy nonstop, even if the car is not even being operated. So there's a big shortage of computer chips, which is holding down the auto industry. Even though there's companies in the United States that also make the chips, they are also short of staff. So that's the reason why if you go and you looking for a new car, there's a shortage of cars. One of the good things about that is that the car that you own, the used car, the value is way up on used cars right now. So if you were holding on to an extra car, or if you're looking to trade a car in or sell a used car, check the Blue Book. The values have gone way up on used cars. You'd be surprised at what you could sell that used car for right now. But one of the things that you might understand, or I'm trying to explain to you, is there's a reason behind all of these things. And if you can see in the future and you can say to yourself, well, what makes things tick? When do you buy stock? When do you sell stock? When do you jump in? When do you jump out? Well, right now, that there's some people that go around, they buy cars and they sell them. They go to the auctions and they bird dog the cars. They go to the auction, they buy the cars, and then they sell them to individual people. Well, there's a phenomenal market for that right now because the cost of the used cars is so high. So you got to be ahead of the curve, see things before they're coming, take advantage of those things, and then help people. And then at the same time, you're making money being able to move on to another project. It helps your family, it helps the economy. So you have to be proactive, not just reactive and complain. A lot of people complain about this, complain about that. Why me? Why this? Why that? Well, there's indicators right there. Like God puts signs in front of you, but you have to be smart enough to take advantage of those signs. Like I tell people, if you're not ready for opportunity will walk right past you and you won't recognize it. You got to be prepared to take advantage of an opportunity. You can't just sit back and complain and bemoan everything in life about what's happening to you without you being able to be prepared to take the hand and put it out there and grasp that opportunity and mold it. You could take a piece of gold and turn it into a diamond. Acres of diamonds, they call it. So you have to be able to shape your own destiny, shape your own future. So there's a lot of things that are happening in the economy right now, and these things are not going to change for a while. So you have to say, there's always a good and a bad. I look at life, there's always a plus and a minus. When something isn't going right, well, they're just training you for when the opportunity comes for things to get better. But you also have to prepare yourself. Whether it's education, whether it's a trade, you don't have to be the brightest person in the world. You could, who's making all the money right now? Guess who? Tradespeople. They're making all the money. If you take, for example, I tell people you don't have to have a 4-year degree. You don't have to have a master's or a bachelor's degree. The people out there that went to trade school right now, they are in such high demand, and not only now, have been for years. If you're a carpenter, if you're a plumber, if you're a mechanic, you know how much money these people make 6 figures, and they don't know when to stop. They get so tired, they need a vacation. I have a brother that's a mechanic. I have a brother-in-law that's a carpenter, and I have another one that's an electrician. And it's like I tell them that they got to slow down. They have, their phone is so busy, just people calling. How many times do you need a plumber, or a carpenter, or electrician? I'm in the real estate business. People are constantly asking me, do you know a handyman? I can't find nobody to do this. I can't find nobody to do that. And so what I'm saying is that there's so much work out there, and you have to be able to take advantage of some of the situations that come your way. There's a lot of things that are going on in the economy right now. One of the things, like I said, is the stimulus. But that stimulus money is not going to be forever. There's a big shortage of workers right now. So this is something that you haven't seen in a long time. You're driving around out there and you're looking and you're seeing people looking for hiring. Everybody's hiring. Everyone's looking for someone to work. They need employees. I went by one place, they needed employees for this, for that. It seemed like they needed them. I don't know how they kept the business open, because they needed so many employees to do some of everything within the business. So right now, the companies are looking to hire. And what is a byproduct of shortage of labor? One of the byproducts is higher wages. Higher, because people have to pay more to get the people to work and to get the people to stay there. I just saw recently Amazon is going up to $20 an hour and over. Even the fast food restaurants, McDonald's, Target, all of these companies, their wages are going up to be able to attract workers. I know even here in service workers, the state of Connecticut, I saw where recently the nursing homes and the CNAs and the nurses averted a strike because they've agreed upon a higher wages and more benefits. And the other thing that people are fighting for is disability home insurance for when they're not able to work, or even child care, or to take care of an elder person. So it's not only about benefits, not only about higher money, but also about better quality of life for the workers. And because the corporations have been making billions, they've made tons of money. And even during the period of the stimulus, and also with the illnesses that are out there. So you got to learn how you fit into that particular situation. If it's trade, then you should go out there and find a trade, because the unemployment situation is not going to be alleviated for a while. The other thing is taxes. The tax period is here. So if people are out there and they're getting their tax money and they have tax money that's coming in, many people have gotten the stimulus money, they've gotten the tax money, they got the child care credits. If you can, I'd say save some of that money and put some of that money aside, because you never know what things are going to happen and what's going to occur. The other thing that fuels the economy is interest rates. I want to talk a little bit about interest rates. Interest rates have been remarkably low in the last 2 or 3 years. The interest rates are a wealth of, power. It empowers your buying ability. If the interest rates stay low, people are buying a lot of homes because it encourages them to buy a house. Let me give you an example. If the interest rate goes up by 1 percentage point, it can make a difference of over $200 a month in your mortgage payment. And that's a lot of money, and that's a 30-year mortgage. So that interest rate going up is not just going up 1 month and coming down the next month. If you've locked into a 30-year mortgage, that's 30 years. So if you have a high interest rate out there, one of the things I would suggest that you do to free up some money is to refinance your house. Now, some people don't understand. I've encouraged them to refinance their house to a lower interest rate to save money. and they get scared, they get nervous. Oh, I don't want to put another mortgage on my house. I'm afraid they might take my house. No, that's not what it's all about. If you have an interest rate of 5% and you owe $100,000 on your house, then what you're really doing is you're getting another mortgage to replace your current mortgage for the same $100,000 that you owe. But instead of paying 5% interest, you pay 3% interest. So you're saving 2% on the money. So therefore, your mortgage payment is going to be going down approximately $200, depending upon how much your mortgage is, $300 a month. So you don't owe any more money than you already owe anyway. And when you get that bill every month, your mortgage payment is a whole lot less. So therefore, what's that mean? You could take a little extra money and put it towards your principal, and you could pay your mortgage off a lot quicker. So you're not adding money on. See, where people get greedy or get in trouble, and I can't even say greedy, it depends on what you are going to use the money for, is where a person refinances their mortgage and they got a lot of equity, and so instead of, if you owe $100,000, you refinance it for $100,000. If you owe $100,000 and you have a lot of equity, and instead of refinancing for 100, you refinance for 150. So now what you're doing is you're replacing your $100,000 mortgage with a higher mortgage. Now, you do get money, yes, so you got $50,000. It's what you do with that money. If you take that money and because your son or daughter's been bugging you for a new car, and you buy a new car for them, and then you got this one over here needs some money, and then that one over there needs some money, and then you turn around and you take a trip, and then you spend some money. Now the $50,000 is gone, but you owe $50,000 more on the mortgage, and you owe more than 50 because you had the interest up and everything. It might come to 80. So that's not the right way to do it. Now, am I saying don't take money out? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying what are you going to do with the money? If you take the extra money out, and let's say you put it down on an investment property, maybe a 2-family or 3-family, and now you're going to get income from that property to help you with your retirement. And not only that, that property is eventually going to be paid off, and you can sell that for a big profit. So therefore, you are improving your financial stability by taking money and letting the money work for you. So money in some instances will make more money for you than you can make yourself. You know, there's been a big craze recently with the Dogecoin. You've heard about cryptocurrency, Dogecoin, Bitcoins. You know, individuals have taken $2,000 in January and put in the Dogecoin, and now that $2,000 turned out to be $30,000, $20,000. And then it goes up and it comes down, which is highly speculative because it can go up and down, up and down, up and down. So it depends on your tolerance. I always say never invest anything that you can't afford to lose. So therefore, if it's extra money you got and you're willing to sit there and weather the ups and downs and just sit back like you never had it and just relax, then maybe it's for you. If it's something that you got to worry about every 5 minutes and every 10 minutes and every news article that comes out, then I don't think that's the thing for you, because your threshold for tolerance is not too great. But like I said before, money makes money. Investments make money. So first of all, it doesn't take a lot. You got to start small. Save up, get a plan. Get a plan, Stan. Ain't that what they say on the music? You got to have a plan and save a little bit at a time. It doesn't have to be a lot. Save $25, $30 a week. After you pay all the bills, put some aside for you, for yourself, for your future, for your children's future. In other words, put you into the equation. It's all about investing and being able to be prepared for that opportunity when that opportunity comes along. So, as I said before, there's a lot to talk about. The economy's going through a lot. They don't plan on raising interest rates anytime soon. I've been following the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve states that they are going to keep interest rates low, even if inflation kicks in, which inflation has kicked in. Inflation is out there right now, and it's rearing its ugly head. And what's inflation? Inflation is when the prices start going up. Price of goods starts going up, and people start charging you more. So that means that the money that you have does not go as far. You know, that $20 you had you can't buy $20 worth of goods. You can only pay maybe 17. So when inflation goes up and the interest rates go up, you don't want to strangle the economy. So you go up on the interest rates, and that slows it down. Well, the Federal Reserve is saying that they're not going to do that just yet, because they want to let they don't want to also stop the economy from growing. Because if you raise the interest rates too fast, too quick, then you have a reverse effect, and people sort of get scared. Wall Street gets scared, the money gets scared, and nothing worse than scared money. Everybody retreats. So they're going to let things ride for a while. So again, I hope this has been informative to you. I try to break it down and make it simple and make it easy so you understand and get an idea of what's happening out there and what's behind the scene. And that's why Can We Talk? Again, my name is Charles Scott. I'm with Tri-State Realty, and if you need any property or advice pertaining to your property or financial advice that I can possibly help you with, give me a call. My telephone number is there, 203-334-7434. Until next week, God bless.